Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra Kaye, and I hope that you are having a great day. Of course, you can find me here on YouTube and Facebook on my own channel, Sunday through Wednesday, 5 p.m. Central Time, and right here on the African Diaspora News Channel, 11 a.m. Tuesday through Thursday. So today is Wednesday, and I'll be back here tomorrow with another great conversation. So today we're going to have a conversation about a white man by the name of Scott Adams. He was a cartoonist who went viral for being very anti-Black American specifically. Well, he's passed away. So we're going to revisit some of the things that he said and just kind of delve into all of that. But yeah, he's gone somewhere due to, I guess, prostate cancer and things like that. So again, we'll get into all of that. But while we're waiting for more people to trickle on in, we have an app that we have created for you, African Diaspora News app to be exact, where you can find it on your Google or Apple Play Store from your phone or wherever you get your apps. Of course, the app is made for us, right? From us, by us, and all of that. Talking about the things that are important to us, not just in Black America, but all over the diaspora, the continent, the Caribbean, South America, wherever you find us, we're going to be talking about it. Now, of course, again, the mainstream media is not going to cover us the way we're going to cover us. And so we would ask you that you would invest in what we have built for you and are still building, right? We're always about improving. And so, again, that app is for you. As I always say, if you got all the other apps that belong to them folks and you don't have an app that belongs to us, you need to really sit down and say, why don't I? Why don't I believe in my own people like I believe in them other folks, right? I have all their stuff, and whenever something good is on there, I go tell everybody about it, right? You can go on any of your social media platforms, and you'll see friends talking about, oh, did you watch this on Netflix? Or on Hulu, or this person on this app said that. But wouldn't it be nice if we started seeing posts from our people saying, hey, did you see what they put on the African Diaspora News app? Yeah, y'all got to check that out, right? Let's make that go viral. So again, if you haven't already, please, please, please do so. And for those of y'all who have, thank you so much. Love and appreciate you for that. So who do we have on here so far? Sister Shirley, how you doing? King Noble, Renz, what is up? Brian Lay, I hope I said that right. How you doing? Says, we give thanks. Didn't hear about this news yet. What? You giving thanks? Okay. Feet Funkerson, how you doing? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Truth to power, what's going on with you? You says, what going to, I don't know where the man has went. I don't know where he's at. And a Keeler, name is kind of skewed on my end, but how you doing? He says, do you accept news stories? So you mean people sending in news stories? Yeah, we accept them. Of course, we'll look at them and see, what's going on. If it's something that we should cover, and I don't want to sound dismissive, but because we get so much stuff, we kind of just have to be selective and just really, pick and choose. But yeah, we're open to a lot of things. Magneta, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Mike Nice in the building. Abdul Games. How you doing? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And Robin, Black Crow, and that's it so far. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it for the sake of time. I start to feel like Romper Room there just a minute. Y'all remember that old show? I see Bob. I see Barbara. Anyway, so what had happened was, and I should say this too, I'm not covering the story to be laughing at somebody who was passed on, because we're all one day going to leave here and, hopefully people say good things about us. But, the other part of that is we got to give people some good things to say. So I also want to reference that of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, where he says, don't laugh, learn. So hopefully that's what we're going to be doing today, learning and not so much laughing, because people passing away, it happens. But yeah, we got to keep in mind one day some people will write our story. So anyway, particular man by the name of, and I'll put him up, Scott Adams, who's a cartoonist of the comic strip Dilbert that came about in the 1980s. Now, he had several corporate America jobs. and he did not like doing that. And so he made a cartoon about obviously a fictional character, Dilbert, who worked in corporate America. He was kind of stuck to cubicle life. And so he wrote about the ins and outs of cubicle office life. And I guess it was kind of, funny, but it resonated with a lot of people because they understood what that was like to work in corporate America and have to go through what they call the rigmarole of that particular life. So he recently passed away yesterday. I'm gonna take that down. Of course, some of you guys probably at least know who Dilbert is, right? I remember those comics. So he passed away, and that's what was put on his social media. But in short, I won't read it to you, right? It was actually on his Twitter. So the final message from Scott Adams, and it basically said that he had accepted Jesus, and he wanted people to check out some of his other works and things like that. But he didn't reference what I'm about to show you, right? That he actually got in a lot of trouble for. So again, he has passed away. Sounds like he passed away of prostate cancer. Found out a couple years ago that he had it. All right. So I'm going to show y'all the video, and it's sped up just a tiny bit because it was about 6 minutes long, but I shortened it. I'm showing the video that he released. It was like 2023. That got him in a lot of trouble. Okay. And he really kind of went in on Black Americans due to something that he saw. And I'm going to show it to y'all. And because I was kind of confused when I read why he was mad. And I actually had my daughter kind of read it to me. I was like, because am I tripping? So anyway, I'm going to show you the video, and then we're going to come on back. So here we go.
I realized, as you know, I've been identifying as Black for a while, years now, because I like to be on the winning team, and I like to help. And I always thought, well, if you help the Black community, that's sort of the biggest lever. You can find the biggest benefit. So I thought, well, that's the hardest thing and the biggest benefit. So I'd like to focus a lot of my life resources in helping Black Americans. So much so that I started identifying as Black to just be on the team I was helping. But it turns out that nearly half of that team doesn't think I'm okay to be white, which is, of course, why I identified as Black, because so I could be on the winning team for a while. But I have to say, this is the first political poll that ever changed my activities. I don't know that that's ever happened before. Normally you see a poll, you just look at it, and you go, whatever. Oh, this is interesting what other people think. But as of today, I'm going to re-identify as white because I don't want to be a member of a hate group. I'd accidentally joined a hate group. So if nearly half of all Blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from Black people. Just get away. Wherever you have to go, just get away. Because there's no fixing this. This can't be fixed. Right? This can't be fixed. You just have to escape. So that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where I have a very low Black population, because unfortunately there's a high correlation between the density. This is according to Don Lemon, by the way. So here I'm just quoting Don Lemon when he notes that when he lived in a mostly Black neighborhood, there were a bunch of problems that he didn't see in white neighborhoods. So even Don Lemon sees a big difference in your own quality of living based on where you live and who's there. So I think it makes no sense whatsoever as a white citizen of America to try to help Black citizens anymore. It doesn't make sense. It's no longer a rational impulse. And so I'm going to back off from being helpful to Black America because it doesn't seem like it pays off. Like I've been doing it all my life, and the only outcome is I get called a racist. That's the only outcome. It makes no sense to help Black Americans if you're white. It's over. Don't even think it's worth trying. Totally not trying. Now we should be friendly. Like I'm not saying start a war or do anything bad. Nothing like that. I'm just saying get away. Just get away. And here's my take on all of it. Everybody who focuses their priority on education does well. If anybody in the Black community focuses on education, they'll do well as well, because the system allows that. If they don't, I can't make that my problem anymore. It just can't be my problem. It can't be my problem if the solution is so clear, so available, and people don't want to take it. It's just not my problem anymore. So I resigned. I resigned from the hate group called Black Americans, according to the Rasmussen poll. 46% of them don't think white people are okay, just being white. And there we go. You didn't expect that today, did you? But the most helpful thing I can do is to say I'm not going to help. Do you understand that? Continuing to help in that sort of classic, oh, let me help you, give you a lift up, give you a hand, mentor you, hire you, prefer you. I'm going to stop all of that. I'm done with all of that. Yeah, no, it didn't work. The only thing that will work is to say you got to fix your own problem. You know how to do it. Everybody else figured it out. I'm not going to speculate why you're not doing it. I'm not going to speculate why there's a difference. I'm just going to say it's available to everybody. You just pick it up. It's free money. Focus on education, and you could have a good life too. But those who don't want to focus on education, you just need to get away from them. Just get as much distance as you can. That's my recommendation. And I'm also really sick of seeing video after video of black Americans beating up non-black citizens. I realize it's anecdotal, and it doesn't give me a full picture of what's happening. But every damn day, I look on social media, and there's some black person beating some white person. I'm kind of over it. I'm over it. Right? So I quit. And it feels good not to be in a racist hate group anymore. So I'm now independent, not a member of any group. I do not align with any group, not the white supremacists and not the black racists.
Well, so ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Scott Adams. Again, he has gone on somewhere yesterday. He has passed away. He was 68 to be exact. So he said a lot of things there, but it sounds like, if you ask me, because I've listened to that a couple of times, not on that speed, it sounds like he was heartbroken to some degree, right? And then I guess he thought black Americans were okay with white people the way, I don't know, he just seems like he's more heartbroken, I guess. Again, that came from 2023, and I'm going to show y'all how he identified as black in just a second. But I just kind of want to reiterate. So he classified black Americans as a hate group, and I'm going to show you the poll in just a second. Due to how some black Americans answered Rasmussen, I think that's how you say it, poll in regards to, is it okay to be white? And so he labeled us a hate group because there was some that was like, no, it's not okay to be white. I'm going to show y'all in just a minute. Now, he basically told white folks to get the hell away, get the hell away from black Americans because, we are now a hate group. And all that other stuff. And it's like, well, how are we a hate group? Why do you deem us to be a hate group? I mean, what did we really do to you? I mean, those people who were polled, they were asked a question and they answered it to their best of their ability. And I guess he didn't like the way they answered. So now black Americans are a hate group when we know that we are victims of hate groups. But okay, again, he sounds like he's brokenhearted. And he says he's been helpful to black Americans. I don't know how, he's been helpful. I don't know if he's donated to the United Negro Fund or something. I don't know how he's done that. But he basically was like, yeah, I've been helpful. I'm not going to help no more. Now, he says the answer is us getting educated. If we get educated in the sense, I guess we would be better off. Education, I would argue, yeah, will make you better off to some degree. But there's a lot of black Americans who are educated. They say the black woman is amongst the most educated, right? So I'm not really sure what he's talking about with that. It sounds like he's trying to absolve his people of, the things that they have done to black Americans to hold us back. He's just saying, just get educated, right? Okay. And then, he says that they've tried to give us a lift up, and it's like, no, you haven't, because the ultimate lift up that we want is our reparations, right? Y'all ain't said nothing about that. We ain't talking about that little trickle down, whatever it is, this, that, and the other. That's never worked. We're talking about reparations, right? Again, we always talk about that 40 acres and a mule that they said they was going to give us, never got. So when they talk about lift up, exactly what are you talking about? Are you talking about DEI and affirmative action that never benefited us? The white woman, again, I showed y'all yesterday how the white woman was more benefited from that. So what is this lift up that he's speaking of? Now, okay, he says that we need to fix our own problems. It's like, no kidding, right? See, we need to be doing that. I concede that, but it's like, if y'all get out the way. But then when they talk about us fixing our own problems, they never talk about how our problems got broken in the first place, or our situation became problems, right? How did what we had going on get broken in the first place? Oh, we had a little run-in with y'all, or y'all came in and ran into us, right? And it put us on those plantations and the Jim Crow and all the other things, even to this day, that y'all have done. But you say fix our own problems. It's like, we will, if y'all would leave us alone, right? We didn't come to y'all. Y'all came to us. And then, when y'all had to let us go off of those plantations against your will, y'all didn't want nothing to do with us. So we went and built our own thing, right? We fixed our own problems, whether it was Black Wall Street, Slocum, Rosewood, you name it. We went and fixed our own problems. And what did you do? You came and you broke everything all up, right? To the point to where we don't even have no black towns like that anymore. Do we have black neighborhoods? Yes, we got that. But we don't have the black towns we used to because, the problems that we fixed, y'all came and unfixed them. So I don't know. Maybe he was just a cartoonist, right? He wasn't a historian or anything like that. And he talked about watching videos online or the news of black people beating up white people. Do those videos exist to some degree? Yeah, but how you gloss over the ones where your people was beating up black people and still beating up black people? Like the police. I know he remembers the most infamous one, the Rodney King incident there in Los Angeles. You don't remember that, Scotty Scott? Right? That's when people had those big old camcorders, right? And some dude from his balcony there in Los Angeles, he caught it all. But before that, none of that stuff was caught on tape. Nowadays, we see it all the time. But he's mad that white people are getting beat up on camera. And I will say this, yeah, that happens. But a lot of times we see a lot of them getting some get back because you messing with people. I saw a couple of those yesterday of his folks getting some, hey, I told you to leave me alone, right? All right, so I just kind of want to, recap what he said. Now, I want to show y'all how he, let me see, where'd he go? I think I forgot to put, no, here it is. He identifying as a black woman. So this was 2022, and he says, I'm going to self-identify as a black woman until Biden picks a Supreme Court nominee. I realize it's a long shot, but I don't want to completely take myself out of the conversation for the job. So, of course, that was when Biden was in office, and he did say before he got in there that he was going to select a black woman for a Supreme Court nominee. And, of course, now we know that black woman is Ketanji Brown Jackson. She did get the job, but I guess in a way he was being snarky, sarcastic, basically saying that they didn't like, and a lot of people said that he being Biden, said he was going to nominate a black woman. So I guess he was being funny and cute. He's going to identify as a black woman. So y'all remember in his video, he says, he used to identify as black. Of course, I was like, well, what in the heck is he talking about? So I went and looked, and this is what he was referencing. So he wasn't serious, right? Because we can see he's he was anyway, a very white man, but he wanted to be a black woman to stick it to the Biden administration. Okay, so that's how he identified as black. And in fact, he identified as a black woman. All right, so let's take that down. Where else are we gonna go? Okay, so I'm gonna actually show y'all the poll. Now listen, I have to read this a few times, and I have to have my daughter read it. And I said, read that, because we still got some reading comprehension skills around here, but mine, I'm getting old, so I had to have her just double check. I said, because am I tripping? And this is the poll, okay? So it says, by telephone and online, the group surveyed 1,000 American adults with this question: do you agree or disagree with the statement, it's okay to be white? That's the statement, right? Now, the report found that 72% of respondents agreed, including 53% who are black. Some 26% of black respondents disagreed, and 21% said they're not sure. The poll also found that 79% of all respondents agreed with the statement, black people can be racist too. All right. So again, do you agree or disagree with the statement that it's okay to be white? Most black people polled said, yeah, I guess it's okay to be white. Now, he said, because he was upset that nearly 50% didn't agree that it was okay to be white. So I'm like, well, how did he get to this nearly 50%? So he took the sum of black respondents who said they disagreed and the 21% that said that they're not sure. And I'm like, okay, but you glossed over the 53% that said it's okay to be white, and you focused on that one little part, and you made this 6-minute rant, by the way, that cost him a lot of jobs. He had his Dilbert comic strip, if you will, in like 2,000 publications all over the country and maybe all over the world. But a lot of those newspapers dropped him after that. They was like, oh yeah, you tripping. Okay, you racist for real. So he lost a lot of work and money over the 26, maybe 21% that, wasn't sure, didn't think that it was okay to be white and glossed over the other part. But my thing is, and as I was talking to my daughter, and she made a really good point, she says, okay, but 53% of people don't agree, or black people don't agree it's okay to be white. but maybe they weren't thinking about it as just white. Maybe they were thinking about it as it's not okay to be a white supremacist and all the other things negative that are attached to being white, right? Not just because you're white. Now, is there some people's like, yeah, I don't like white? Yeah, sure. But most of us, when we think about white, and again, it's not all white people, we're thinking about the things that they have done. But again, he got mad at that. But then if you go down to the bottom, it says the poll also found that 79% of all respondents agreed that with the statement that Black people can be racist too, which is a lot of people, right? It's a large majority, which we know that Black people, especially Black Americans, we can't be racist because being racist means that you have the ability to negatively affect a whole nother group of people. Black Americans have never had that power. Now, can we be discriminatory or prejudiced? Yeah, most people are that, right? It's, you know, you like this more than you like that, or you have a preference, right? So yeah, we can do that, but being racist, no. But somehow he didn't get mad at that. Why didn't you take exception to that? Because Black people, while we have done some things as a group, we do not, again, control everybody else. So I was confused as to why he got on a tangent about that. Again, it cost him a lot of money, okay, and a lot of work. And again, that statement, it's okay to be white, actually was a white supremacist, and it still is, talking point that came from white supremacist groups. Now, of course, y'all saw recently the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, he was somewhere and some Turning Point USA something, and he rattled off the talking point, you know, it's okay to be white and we're not going to apologize for being white. He also led the charge and telling white men in America, if you've been discriminated against, you can contact the EEOC, you know, the Equal Opportunity, whatever it is, and tell them that you've been discriminated because you're a white man and you may be entitled to some compensation, right? So that's where that talking point comes from. And I would say that Scott Adams, while he didn't originate that it's okay to be white talking point, I think he put a little bit more fuel on the fire, because from that point, you really started to see a lot of white people saying, I'm going to be white unapologetically. And the rest of us are like, so what? But what they were really saying is, I'm going to be racist unapologetically out loud. I don't care who likes it. Gone are the days that we are going to lose our jobs. Well, he lost his, you know, job, Scott Adams, right? But we should be free to just say whatever we want. Now, if you go on X or Twitter, which I don't really suggest that you do, because there's a lot of racism. It is rampant. You might be called or see somebody being called the N-word and a whole host of other things, right? Especially since Trump got into office a second time and Elon Musk bought the app. But yeah, Scott Adams, I think he kind of ushered that in. All right. So what else do we have here? I wanted to talk about the statement that he referenced in regards to Don Lemon. Y'all know who Don Lemon is. He used to be on CNN, but he got in trouble because he said something about, I think it was Nikki Haley. She was running for president at the time. She's Indian. And he basically said she was old, right? She's too old as a woman. She's kind of past her prime is what he said. And then from that point, I don't know if he got fired, whatever it is. He just wasn't on CNN anymore. But this is what he said in 2013. It was a talking point series that he had. It was 5 talking points talking about Black folks. Again, this is 2013, Don Lemon.
Number 3, respect where you live. Start small by not dropping trash, littering in your own communities. I've lived in several predominantly white neighborhoods in my life. I rarely, if ever, witness people littering. I live in Harlem now. It's an historically Black neighborhood. Every single day I see adults and children dropping their trash on the ground when a garbage can is just feet away. Just being honest here.
Okay. So that, again, that was 2013, Don Lemon. He had talking points, 5 of them. One was pull up your pants, and he gave the whole history of why people sag, you know, the prison stuff. And I think he was talking about single mothers and, you know, just some other, I don't want to say they were anti-Black necessarily, but it's anti-Black when you get on a white news station and talk down on Black people like that, you know? And he was talking about, getting educated and things like that. So again, Scott Adams was referencing Don Lemon when he was talking about, oh, see, Don Lemon don't want to live in the Black communities either because of the same problems. Well, Don Lemon was really just talking about trash, I guess. Maybe he was talking about some other stuff, but he sees, adults and children dropping trash and things like that. Now, I don't know if he was basically saying that the Black community was bad, because he said, again, I was Don Lemon, that he lives in Harlem. Now, we know that Harlem is gentrified a lot. It's not the Black Harlem that it used to be. So I don't know if he's considering that now to be a white neighborhood, but that's why, and I'm just kind of thinking out loud, especially we that sit in these platforms like Don Lemon and all that, we got to be careful what we say about our own people as well, because white folks, they be listening. Oh, yes, they listen. I told y'all the other day, and I'm sure you guys have seen it. Was a couple weeks ago, I saw Alex Jones. He's, I guess, a right-winger supremacist. He ended up having to pay like some billions of dollars or something to Sandy Hook victims. He basically said it was a hoax and all of that. But I knew that Black America had a problem when I saw him parroting the talking points of Black America when it came to the Somalis. He's like, even Black Americans are sick of the Somalis. I was like, y'all don't never listen to Black people unless it's about some more Black people, right? You could have very easily said Black Americans need their reparations, right? Because we say that a lot. I would say we talk about reparations probably more so than we do anybody else. But then there go Alex Jones talking about even Black Americans. They don't like the Somalis either. And it's like, man, mind your business, first of all. You gonna pick up that to talk about? Then, the other day, some white man is running for governor, I think in Florida, against Byron Donaldson. The guy's name is Fishback. His last name is Fishback. He was using the word that I don't like. That's, not Black American. I'll say it once for educational purposes. He used the term tether when he was talking about Byron Donaldson. And I'm like, out of all the things you could say, you're going to pick up on that? And I'm like, I know there's a lot of people thinking, oh, see, even they know, right? When I say people, I mean us. Look, even white people are saying it. It's like white people ain't saying it because they agree with you, but they're saying the word because they're using it against somebody who is, I guess, apparently not Black American, but they're not saying it like, hey, let's lock arms, Black Americans, let's run around, delineating. White folks don't care about what we actually do, but they'll hijack our terms. So I say that to say, yeah, we got to be careful of things we say, because Scott Adams used Don Lemon's talking point to say, well, if Don Lemon don't like living around Blacks, then I don't want to live around Blacks either. And it's like, well, Don Lemon says a whole lot of things. I'm not saying they're all bad. I think Don Lemon says some good things sometimes, but that one thing he ran away with, right? Like, you're going to listen to Don Lemon on that, but nothing else. Now, lastly, I want to put this up. Why would some of those Black people say it's not okay to be white? As you can see there, I put together this illustration, and there's a lot going on. For one thing, a lot of Black Americans see white folks, and maybe not all of them, but when you think about white, you think about oppression, right? You think about the slavery that our ancestors had to endure. There's a lot of oppression, so that's not gone away, even though we're told, just forget about it. Slavery was a long time ago. You weren't a slave, and we're not slave masters, right? But it's like, yeah, that's true, but you're still benefiting from the wealth, that you stole from our ancestors, right? But so we still think of those images when we think of them. We think about the racism that we endure every day in 2026. To this day, we still endure racism. So how can you not tie them two together, right? Because more than likely, I know things are changing. When I say things are changing, other demographics are being openly racist to Black Americans too. But when you think about racism or you hear about racism, it usually got somebody who's white attached to it. So, that's why a lot of Black people probably think it's not okay. I always say, if I had a choice to come back here and I was able to have a conversation with God and he says, hey, Demetra, what would you like to come back as? It's going to be Black still. Okay, I don't care. I'm gonna be Black, and in spite of it all, I'm gonna come back Black. I would never say that. No white. Of course, there's a lot of injustices that happen to Black Americans from them folks. It's just a fact. I'm not making this up. You can look at it, you can Google it. You can ask your mama, Obama, you can ask anybody, right? Well, maybe not Obama because he pretended like it didn't happen. But yeah, there's a lot of injustices, whether it's police, brutality, financial injustice, it's educational injustice, just walking outside, breathing, being Black injustice. So it's everywhere. And of course, there's systemic and institutional racism, disadvantages. The system is designed in a lot of cases rigged against Black folks. You know, they tried to do this whole DEI, affirmative action thing that was original for Black people, but everybody else got it. But they made affirmative action because they realized there was a disadvantage. And yeah, maybe Black people need just a little bit of help, you know, a little advantage to get in. Not that we were slow or stupid or nothing, but because the systems were designed to keep us out. Again, it's been designed to keep more white women in. Okay, that's just the truth. Now, the other thing is a lot of Black people, Black Americans specifically, do not think it's okay to be white because white folks like to deny any of that. That's not true. We're not racist. We just feel like, you know, Black Americans are inferior. Now, that's racist because it's not true, right? And with that belief, they've been able to do things to harm us. Whatever it is, anything you can think of, they've used racism with just that thought alone to harm us, just denying it. That is, racism is even a thing. And then, of course, the denial comes with, well, if you just get more educated, then you can get ahead in life. Like I said, Black women got some of the most education, most degrees. I tell you all the time, but no, I don't, because I'm really talking about I got 2 degrees, right? I could be doing a little bit better in life, but education is not going to stop, you know, the false idea of white supremacy. And then, of course, just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You just work a little bit harder. If you just clock in just a little bit more strongly, then, you know, you'll be all right. Well, we know that's not true as well. Okay. Then, of course, the ideology of, well, white is right. Why? Because we said so. If it's white, it's right. And unfortunately, we believe it in a sense, right? The white man's ice is colder. We kind of just go along with that. But they think that, yeah, I don't need to explain nothing to you. I'm white. I'm right. Whether you've seen the insurgence of the Karens, right? We've seen that. Karen feels like she could be in any of everybody's business because she's a white woman and she can ask you to show me your key or your lease to this apartment or whatever it is, right? Then, of course, the colonization of Black Americans, again, through slavery and a whole host of other things, and the culture vulturing that goes on. So, yeah, a lot of times Black Americans are like, I didn't know if it's okay to be white, because a lot of us like, I wouldn't want to be that. You know, it's not something I strive to be. So, again, Mr. Scott Adams has gone on. I don't know if it's the glory or where he's gone, but he's no longer here. And again, I'm not making light of his death again, because I wouldn't want nobody to make light of mine or anything like that. But it's a shame, as my mama used to say, it's a sin and a shame that he had his whole career of being a great cartoonist, but he decided to kind of tank it in a sense. Now, them people, they, you know, oh, he's telling the truth. And even to this day, under a lot of the posts, it's like he was right. We didn't see anything he said wrong. He was right. It was like, whatever, man. But he, in a sense, tainted his own career and legacy behind being anti-Black. And it sounds like, to me, he maybe just misunderstood the poll or whatever it is. Or maybe he was like, this is my time to shine. I'm going to be the racist that I've always been inside, and I'm going to be that out loud. I don't know. But yeah, he's gone on. And if he would have just did a little bit of research or whatever the case is, he would have probably realized, yeah, I'm not going to put this video out. I'm going to put this in a draft, or I'm going to delete it. But he didn't do that. And even from that point, he went on to, you know, become even more outwardly racist. And today, President Trump even, you know, called him. Now, this is shady right here. President Trump said he was a, what did he say? He was a great influencer. Scott Adams, the president deduced him down to an, then this is where the sadness comes in. The president deduced him down to an influencer. Now, mind you, this man came out with his cartoon in the 80s before influencer was even a thing, before he had social media or anything. But because Trump, I guess, maybe learned of Scott Adams when he came out and he was extra racist, he called him an influencer. Said he was a great influencer and he will be missed. Wow. Anyway, let me see what y'all got to say. Thank you for bearing with me. I'm going to try to read as many comments as I can because I see there's a lot here. Okay, so let's see. Black conservative, how you doing? Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Sister Sunlight, how you doing? I'll be chill in the building. What's going on? Magnetic says, I never read those comments, but I have seen that particular drawing. Yeah, Dilbert, it's been around for a long time, but again, he's been deduced to an influencer. Man, 69 years old, 69, 68, something like that. So he was around before influencing became a thing. You know, an influencer, somebody gets on the internet and says, Sam, this is a really nice pen. You all should get this pen because I have it and my mom has it. So you go get the pen, you've been influenced. So I don't know, maybe he influenced people to be more anti-Black. I don't know, but it's sad. March, baby, how you doing? Says, I remember Dilbert. Yeah, and you know, when you get this age, see all this gray hair, you know who Dilbert is. Singing Nemo, how you doing? Says, if he had love in his heart, he would have lived longer. And it sounded like it was prostate cancer, so I don't know why that man ended up with it. We don't know, but like I said, I think it's kind of it's a shame that with all that he's built, that's what he's remembered for. And I see, you know, I saw this post on Twitter. I think I followed the account because I got some wicked humor myself. The account is owned by Lucifer, right? It's Lucifer's Lucifer's Twitter account. And Lucifer tweeted, Scott Adams has arrived. Wow. Anyway. Coco, how you doing? Says, watching from South Africa. How you doing? And Edelwise, how you doing? Says, teach me to feel another's woe, to right the fault I see, that mercy I to others show, that mercy to show me, Alexander Pope. So you're basically saying, I think what I was saying, don't laugh. I don't know, I'm not laughing about him passing on at all. I don't think that's funny. I was just talking about what he said, and unfortunately the legacy that people now are talking more about than his comic, when he had Black people in his comic too, right? I think one of the people in this comic was a Black dude who ran the whole joint, from what I understand, or one of them anyway. So he sounded like he was just really kind of brokenhearted. Pammy, how you doing? Says, these weirdos are obsessed with us. They always have been. Willie, how you doing? Says, the judgment of the Most High, Yahweh, he says, is in full effect. Yeah, I mean, if it's that, we'll never know, right? I just hope that when it's my time to be judged, the good Lord says, you are right with me. That's what I'm working on. Adrian, how you doing? Your average logical thinker, how you doing? Says, he sounds ridiculous. So y'all talking about the video that I played. Kaya, how you doing? Says, that was a poll. You overreacted. I'm Black and I live in a white neighborhood, so there's no a-holes there's a-holes everywhere. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just misread it. I'm not quite sure. Ricardo, how you doing? Oh, well, thank you. He says, death has no preference and it doesn't recognize, he says, SWS, nor white privilege either. Is that white privilege? Is that what that is? No, it doesn't. Death does not discriminate. And as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, well, if you're born, you have to die. It's just the way it is. We're all going to die. Maybe we don't know when. But yeah, death doesn't say, well, I kind of like you more. I know you're 133, but I'll keep you. You know, it just, when it's your time, it's your time. Timothy, how you doing? Says, how can you not crack a smile on this passing? Come on. Because I got compassion, right? Or when I say compassion, I'm just not about to be laughing. Most of you guys know and follow me. My father, recently passed away December 22nd. And so when I think about laughing at somebody's passing, I just, I'm not going to be laughing, right? Because I don't think it's funny that he passed. I think it's actually sad again that his legacy's tainted with his own mouth and the way that he thought about Black people. Like, for real? Okay. Nico, how you doing? Say facts. Doug says, how to destroy your career in 5 minutes. I should have just read your comment. Yep, absolutely. Coco says, they tortured and enslaved our people for 400 years. Don't they think to cut us some slack? Right. No, because they think that we should just get over it. It's in the past. What's the big deal? Just move on. All right. But again, we're the only group of people who are told to just move on. Child of God, how you doing? Says he was the what? He had a small hat. Says they are the main ones pushing the agenda all over the media. That's really, see, I'm gonna just say this on our own app. I could do more than our app, African Diaspora News, that is. King Noble says he acted like Blacks not wanting to deal with whites comes from a place of hatred. No, the overall experience that we've had with these people isn't good. There you go. I should have just read your comment too. We could have just been out of here like 15 minutes ago. Black Crow says he decided to share his hatred with the world. He has been feeling that way all along. Yeah, I just think it was just he took the poll and got upset. I don't know if it was manufactured, anger. Maybe it was, but Stardale, how you doing? You say so he accepted white Jesus. Oh, the irony. Well, a lot of people do when they, see that light at the end of the tunnel. Because I guess he also said that he didn't believe in God, or he was an atheist, I think, for most of his life. But in the letter that he posted, or his people posted on social media, he was basically saying, well, just in case, and he wrote it out. I, Scott Adams, accept, Jesus Christ into my heart. So he wrote all that in the letter. But he has spent most of his life being an atheist, from what I understand. But yeah, I guess it doesn't hurt, just in case, right? And that's what he said. Just in case there is a heaven to go to, he wants to be up there. So yeah, JJ, did I say hi to you? If not, hello. He says, when did he ever help Black folks? I don't know. My Cherokee Nation, how you doing? Says, what is this babbling idiot talking about? And you talking about Scott, or you talking about me? Stephen, how you doing? Says, well, you get no rest in peace for me. Well, no, you ain't got to wish him rest in peace or nothing like that. I ain't telling nobody to do that now. He got enough people doing that. I'm just saying, and that's kind of a reminder to all of us. Don't taint your legacy. The pastor years ago, very wise man, he says, the day that you're born and the day that you pass, they're important, right? Happy birthday type thing. But he says it's what's in the dash that will last. So it's that dash is your life, right? Your lifeline of what you did in that dash. What people will remember you for. What, when they say your name in different places, what will they say about you first? What would have the biggest impact on those people when your name is mentioned after you die? See, that's what we should all be worried about and focused on. Like, I want people to say some pretty good things about me, right? When I leave up out of here, not that man. I'm like, you sure they gone? Let's make sure they gone. You know what? People said that. Soul Javelin Spear, how you doing? Says Rock Newman. And I'm not sure what that's in regards to, but we like Rock Newman. We like Rock Newman still, right? Because I can't keep up. One day, when I say we, I mean collectively, we like somebody, and then the next we don't. I like Rock Newman. I think he's pretty cool. He's a triple OG in the game, right? Before all this influence and stuff came around. Yeah, so yes, indeed. D-Weeze, what's going on? It says, oh, Lord. John, how you doing? So what the H? He resigned from being Black. Yeah, he resigned from life too. Now, I wasn't trying to be funny. I'm just stating the obvious. God is, he says, now he's away from all people. 'Tis true. EO, how you doing? Say he's he's away from everyone now, y'all. We're not laughing. We're not laughing. Log Design, I hope I said that right. He says, oh, well, I don't feel a damn bit sorry for him at all for going away. I guess he had to find out the hard way that because you're white, you're not invincible. I hope they don't think that. You're invincible. I mean, I think it was David Rockefeller. He got like 9 heart transplants. Because in a sense, he thought he was invincible, but the Grim Reaper was like, nah, hell no. Come on. You're not finna get a 10th heart up in here. And he was like 100 and something. The Grim Reaper was like, bring it, come on, right? Now, I don't know what the Grim Reaper took him, but the Grim Reaper was like, I'm about tired of waiting. I'm tired of waiting on you, okay? So, yes, they're not invincible. That's where I was going with that. Albert Chill says, the last thing them folks want to do is leave us alone. You better know it. I hope I said that right. How you doing? It says, I hated Dilbert anyway. Yeah, it's kind of like with that like dry humor. I think most comics are. Man, that's we dating ourselves when we talk about comic books. Like we actually read comic strips out the newspaper, right? Your parents got the newspaper and you told them, save me the comics because you read the comics. I don't know if people even do that no more. AJ, how you doing? Says education don't matter if you only out for yourself. That is true. Look how that talented 10th theory panned out. Talented 10th was told to go off, get that education, and come on back to the 90% of us and teach us something. And that 10% kept on going, didn't they? Texas Puncher, how you doing? Says breaking my heart, pretty brown eyes. Mint condition, you like mint condition? Bobby, or Bob rather, he says, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon to you as well. Okay, let me skip down so I can make sure I try to get everybody. Adrian says, are you talking to Coco? But how you doing? Pearl Levels going on with you says, we are blessed people. You better tell them again. Venice Styles, how you doing? Says the creator is moving through this land and it's a beautiful thing to see. Oh yes, it's going on in real time. All you got to do is just sit back. Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad said, was it this Sunday or the last Sunday? He said, we ain't got to do nothing. God has got it. God's got it handled. We ain't got to get out there and be doing nothing, but we got things we should be doing right. Doing for self and all that group economics, but we ain't got to be doing nothing. God has already got it taken care of. So yeah. Sheba, how you doing? Says that would be cool. Rebuild our cities. Yeah, we got to do that. I think we'll kind of have that conversation tomorrow. It's going to be really good conversation. I hope. Magnetter, thank you so much. Love and appreciate you for that. Yes, I do. Every little bit helps us do more of what we want to do here on the African Diaspora News channel. So thank you. Felicia, how you doing? Says, may God be pleased with his soul. I think that's decent, right? And Pearl says these groups can keep our race out of their mouth. Yep. John, how you doing? Says peace and blessings, family. The Community Outreach Associates of Phelan Parkway, the Bronx, New York, sharing in like 2026. Well, tell them we said hello. Sister Shirley says, maybe we are a hate group because we have too much self-hate. Ooh. Says maybe we have been speaking about that. He may have been speaking about that rather. Now, you trying to get in trouble with me, huh? But yeah, I don't know if he was talking about that. I think he was talking about the way we feel about them. But you said a word with that. You did. Kasavu Blue Boo, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see, going all the way down. Jedi was going on. Says a woman judge that doesn't know what a woman is. You talking about Ketanji Brown Jackson when they asked her what's a woman, and she says, all she had to do was, but I know why she did it, because you know the Democrats, they don't want to be answering them type of questions, what a woman is, right? Right now at the Supreme Court, I guess they're still trying to decide whether trans girls and women, so, because I be getting confused too. So trans girls and women, they were or are biological men, but they transitioned to being women. So now the argument is at the Supreme Court as to whether they should be allowed to play in women, girls and women's sports. Now I'm like, that's the foolishness of the Democrat Party, because why is that even a conversation? I just don't make no sense to me. Like the Supreme Court hears less than 10% of cases a year. And I'm sure there's some cases that need to be heard. And y'all arguing about that? To me, that's a no-brainer. So yeah, what's a woman? They don't know. Robin, how you doing? Says they are not white. You talking about them people? Or what are they? Okay, so I'm going down. So give me a second. Cornelius, what's going on? It says we FBA don't care. All right, got you. I got you. I'm really behind, huh? Pop, how you doing? Till Dog, what's going on? It says I hope he, Charlie, and Hulk Hogan are having a beautiful, warm reunion down below. I don't know. I don't ever want to find out. Buck Horse, how you doing? And Miss Hart, how you doing? Says, hey, Voodoo and Voodoo chat, gang, gang, gang. Okay. Hello. Nita rather, because y'all names are squashed together. Nita Robinson, how you doing? Says, that's not what he was saying. I see it in my community. We have to do better in keeping our neighborhoods clean. When I was growing up, we had clean up block parties. I agree with you. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if that's what Don was necessarily saying, or is that's what Scott took from that. So yeah, I mean, and there's some truth to what Don is saying. Is like, man, why you got to get on CNN and do it though? Has how you doing? Chronic was going on. It says living vicariously through others never solves anything. I totally agree with you on that. Beast by Dizzy was going on. It says you think about evil. Why? Oh, you talking about when you think about them? Okay. Mel Con Huger, how you doing? It says to me, the Grim Reaper knocks at his door and said it's time. That yeah, the Grim Reaper, I guess, is gonna do that for everybody. I don't know, or is it somebody else if you're good? Carl, how you doing? Says, God dang, how many? You said, so you're saying, God dang, I think we're trying to say, how many Charlie Kirk zaddies got? User, and that's the name that comes up. It says, black people don't own those buildings. The landlord should have maintenance and the city should have street cleaners, but they don't do their job in the black community. Yeah, but come on now, we do be dropping a little something. So everybody litters, right? I remember back in the day before littering became like a crime. People would just throw their trash out the window of the cars and all kind of stuff. But it's not just black people. But to your point, the black community is neglected when it comes to like the beautification of black neighborhoods. So yes, there is some truth to that. Mitch, how you doing? Says he was trying to help blacks all his life, but finally gave up because he realized they are violent and hate you for being white. Well, first of all, he was lying. And again, I hope I broke it down why some black Americans may feel that way. And come on now, you know that. And I'm assuming you're white. You know damn well y'all didn't wake up and we just woke up and said we gonna hate y'all today. Come on now. Y'all say y'all the most superior people, y'all the most intelligent, and you can't do some deductive reasoning. Wallace, how you doing? Says that white boy didn't know those cures falling back on them. Curses, rather, I think he meant falling back on them white folks. He in the hell of Deuteronomy 37. I don't know where he at, but he ain't here no more. Bare Arms, how you doing? Says another one bites the dust. Queen, aka Freddie Mercury. All right. Clyde, how you doing? Says not judging anyone. All I know is hate shortens your life. And you said a word right there, which is why I try not to do it at all, because it does. It is very toxic. Corner. How you doing? Says thousands of black men and women graduate from college yearly and are still unemployed. Black Gen X could be giving Gen Z's jobs and tangibly assisting them rather than giving platitudes already done. Black Gen Xers, they ain't got no jobs. What jobs do black Gen Xers own? I mean, we own some, but it ain't like that. I promise you. Chell Hollywood. I jacked that up. I know how you doing. Says he'll be back as a servant to us in the kingdom. That's when many of them will learn. Oh, well. Dominique, how you doing? Freddie, what's going on with you? Dexter, listen, I'm out of time. You guys did it again. I guess it's a good thing. African Native, how you doing? Chris, what's going on with you? Y'all did it again. Y'all beat me. Y'all love, how you doing? I cannot beat the comment section anymore, and I'm kind of sad about that. I'll put this up. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. What is it? Q. I'm gonna say your name wrong, but thank you. It is much appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I don't take any joy in not being able to beat the comment section anymore. I used to, but not no more. But listen, and Cherry Blossom says Black Gen X don't have positions. Yeah, what do we got? We ain't got nothing. We do, but not like that. We should. We should have something. And you know what? It's the same thing in politics, right? Gen Xers, that's me. I'm a Gen Xer. We barely getting in those seats. You know why we Gen Xers are hardly getting in those seats, political seats? Because you still got the silent generation. Maxine Waters is the silent generation. Okay. James Clyburn, I think he's a silent generationer. Nancy Pelosi, I know she's not coming. Well, she ain't going back to Washington. They're silent generation. That was my daddy's generation. 1928, 29, something like that to 1945. That generation is still in office. Now, the generation after the silent generation was the baby boomers. My mama was a baby boomer, born in 1949. I was born in 1971. We should be in those positions now. There's some, but, and I don't want to participate in ageism, but why are the silent generation are still sitting on those seats? I mean, I don't doubt that you're wise or not, but it's time to get up. So I say that to say, like, there's a lot of things we don't have. As Black Americans, yeah, we should be having more businesses than we do, and we're working on that, right? Which is why we got to continue having these conversations about what we should be doing. We know what we're supposed to be doing. We've been told to do that for a very long time. I'd love to offer jobs to the generation under me. We just got to get the jobs. But see, the other part of that conversation is we got to stop giving away 97% of almost $2 trillion to everybody else. They said if we would just to keep 10% of the money we give away, we keep that in our community, we could build jobs, own and control those, and then, give jobs to our children and I don't have no grandchildren yet, right? But our children and our grandchildren. We could do that if we would just keep some of that money and not circulate it, or circulate it rather more than 6 hours. We could be having this conversation. And the way we vote, again, I don't want to engage in ageism. I don't mean it to come off that way, but you know that James Clyburn been in office forever. Maxine Waters forever. Both of them got yearbook pictures next to Jesus. So at some point in time, we should be saying, okay, they've done and I'm just saying this hypothetically, okay? Let's say they've done a job. I don't want to say it's been a wonderful job, but they've done their job for 30, 40 years. Let's vote somebody else in that's maybe younger, that has their eye and their mind on, things that are going on that's more relevant. Because if you look at the way a lot of these older people legislate, it is like from the civil rights movement. Not dissing them, but it's like, yeah, we need to move past that. Because look what that's gotten us. It hasn't gotten us anywhere. It's getting everybody else, everybody else outside of Black Americans, things that were kind of meant for us, I guess. So yeah, it's just something to think about. I don't even know why I got to talking about that. That's what happened when you get old, y'all. But anyway, listen, I'm going to get out of here. Dollface, how you doing? So Gen X, 1965 to 1980. I'm a Gen X or 1971. So ain't no shame in my game. I tell you how old I am. I'll be double nickels. I said double nickels. Okay, not the other thing I thought I said in April. So yeah, I'm a Gen Xer. So yeah, we should be providing jobs, and that's the conversation we need to have more often. Anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I'll be back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time. What else? Oh, y'all can join me on my page tonight, Demetra Kaye Show at 5 p.m. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about, but I'm sure it'll be interesting nevertheless. But in the meantime, y'all, please stay tuned for all of the other contributors that come on. I know y'all don't always get your notifications, but just check into the channel once a day or at the end of the day and say, hey, what was they talking about today? Because we be talking about some good stuff, but unfortunately, we don't get, the views that a channel of this magnitude should. So I'm just telling y'all, just make sure y'all come back. Tell a friend, share a video or something, because we need to, get the word out about what we doing in the African diaspora. So anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Again, don't forget to get our app. Peace.